If your business is being asked by your large customers or by your investors or by your bankers if you're sustainable or for some certification, oftentimes one of the gaps that your company has right now is you don't have a human rights policy or a labor an employee policy. Maybe you have something in your employee handbook, or maybe you have something just informal, but writing it down, getting it in a 1 or 2 page PDF with your logo on it, and getting all employees to read it and sign it, that's going to become important. So, this video is all about what a human rights policy is. Come with me. Okay, but what does this policy actually look like at your company? Well, it's got a couple sections, usually 4 or 5 sections. The first would just be an executive summary about what a human rights policy means for your company. So this could be, we've always cared about our employees, but now we're digging in deeper to making sure that they have fair working conditions, that they're paid fairly. The next would be the scope of your policy. So that's it's covering everybody that's ever worked for us, or it's just this particular section or site. The next is allocation of responsibilities. So that is, who's setting up this policy, who's reviewing it to update it every year, who's signing off on it, and how does it all work? That's number 4 is the mechanism. So is every employee signing this and putting it in a central repository, or are they having to, as soon as they start work, sign something? Like how does it all work? How are you rolling it out? Prove it. The fifth is purpose. Why are you doing this? Why does it matter? What is material to your business? So, if you have no employees, then you don't need to really talk about fair wages. And if you're creating a product in a third world country, we need to definitely talk about how we're treating employees and paying them fairly. We can talk about forced work, discrimination, all of those things can come into part 6, which is key issues. And that's what I'm going to get into next. While there are probably 50 things you could put in a human rights policy, there are some key ones I see all the time. And the first is keeping your people safe, right? So this is health and safety. Likely you're already doing this. So this you could tuck in what you're already doing into your human rights policy and have some qualitative and quantitative data to support it. Again, this doesn't need to be super lengthy, but you want to say our company has this in place. Last year we reached XYZ target of no incidents, severe incidents. This year, we're aiming for XYZ. So make it time bound, make it specific, and create a target. So that's one. We see diversity and inclusion statements. We see human trafficking policies. We see helping employees grow at your company or employee benefits or career growth. There's lots of different sections in this area. And if you have questions, definitely reach out and I can answer them. Or you could look at your peers or competitors, see if they have a human rights policy, and see what is material to their business. Likely it's material to your business. I always love looking at examples. So here's Lego's human rights and the rights of children's policy. See, right at the top, they talk about who owns the document, what date it is, when will they review it, which is coming up. And then they have different sections, which I already talked about. So, what's the objective of this policy? They talk a little bit about who it covers, their human rights commitments, which I talked about. These can be both quantitative and qualitative. And then the key impact areas. So, I discussed a few just a few moments ago. There's our people, our suppliers, children, and the community and the environment. And see, it's just a succinct 3 page paper that all their employees would look at and sign. They would share this with their stakeholders. They could even post this on their website, which is where I got it from. And then it's just totally transparent and it's actionable. And there are specific targets and they know their baselines. So, those are kind of the key factors of a good human rights policy. All right, so to recap, why would you have a human rights policy? One is likely your large customers, bankers, or investors are starting to ask you for it, or you need it in order to pass some new certification around ESG or sustainability. So, to close, 2 good resources. One is Ecovadis, the how to guide on HR and labor policies. There's a presentation you can go look at on their website all about what you should include and how to know from, let's say, your industry specifically, or your country, or your company size, what should be included, what is material. And number 2 is you can go to the UN Global Compact, and they have a paper called How to Develop a Human Rights Policy at Your Company. So I'll put these 2 resources at the end here, and you can take a look at them. Thanks so much. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. See you later.